All right, so we are 1 week away from the epic matchup. The YouTuber turned now exhibition boxer Jake Paul, the man with the quick hands and the hairless, homeless fashion sense, versus Ben Askren, the two-time MMA champion, the funky name, the funkier style, the curly-headed himself. They're due to do battle on April 17th. And if you guys don't already know, we're hitting a watch party for this thing. I will be live here on the W.A.D.E Concept YouTube channel with you guys, going over the fights, commentating. I know you guys like these. I love doing them, so be here. We're going to watch the Problem Man-Child versus Ben Askren, Mr. Funky himself, April 17th. I'll see you there. So today's video, guys, we are going to be watching and breaking down the interview that Ben Askren did on Impaulsive. So Impaulsive, obviously, is Logan Paul's podcast. I mean, he's kind of stealing my thing here. We did the W.A.D.E Concept after my name. He threw his name in. His flows together a little better, I will say, so fair play to Logan. But obviously, I think Logan's going to be a little more biased toward Jake. It's his family, as much as the dude is an asshole. Obviously, you got to ride with family. I would do the same thing. But I know Geriatric Mike is on this podcast, a.k.a. the right-hand job man to Logan Paul. I know he has another one of his buddies on here, but I don't know the guy's name. But let's take a look at this thing as I break down the Ben Askren interview from Impaulsive. Let's go.
I just want to get into this fight stuff. Just clear the fucking ice for a hot sec. Shake it up. What is your plan to try to match someone who has been training in the boxing world for the past 3+ years and obviously has put together quite a capability when it comes to at least the technical approach and aspects of the sport.
You know, he's only fought 2 times against guys who weren't really all that high level. You know, hey, I may not have the boxing skill, but that doesn't mean I can't get in there and fight somebody, right? I've been fighting people for 20 years.
It doesn't mean that, but it might mean that you might not win.
If Jake's really, really good, I'm probably not going to beat him. But I think he's probably not really that good. That's what I think.
Why not? I got it.
Because he
Talk shit a little bit more, man.
He beat.
So yes, Ben makes a great point here because listen, there are very different skills involved with boxing and in MMA. And to be honest, Jake has nailed down at least to a degree, all of the boxing skills he would need to beat a guy like Ben Askren. A guy that's for 3 years in, he's a pretty technically good boxer, right? He understands his distance. He can throw that jab and snap it out. He has a really good jab. His overhand right is there. He can fight going backward. He can fight coming forward. Jake feels untouchable right now. He looks untouchable to people. What happens when he gets touched? What happens when the aura of invincibility leaves his mind and he starts to think, oh, I might be in trouble here? How does he respond? That's Ben's whole point. I think I can push him to a place he's never been, where he's not comfortable, and where he doesn't know how to come back from.
He beat up a YouTuber and a basketball player who likely has never been in any type of fight in his whole life. What about that makes him good? Really, though?
That's a little better.
It's
right.
And so if he had fought someone good, we're going to learn something about him. He fought, I don't even know what the first dude's name was. He was a bum. And the basketball player, while he was a good athlete, the first time he got punched, there was just like, oh shit.
I told you.
To me, it was like, oh man, that guy really never got punched before.
Give me that. I told you. Ben Askren sees the same thing I see. I don't think Nate Robinson ever sparred. Get absolutely fucked.
You know, when someone's in there against people of that level, I think it's hard to judge.
With any sport, not even just sports, anything you do for 3 years, if you don't get somewhat good at it by that time, like stop.
I agree with that.
He is at that point where he's a legit boxer now, and I'm sure you've seen on Instagram.
So, but when you say legit, is that like he would challenge for world title? Is that he's gonna be the top 10? Is that like where does legit go? You know, like
and we experience this every day. People come over and they think they're sparring a YouTuber, then they leave nose bloodied and having been knocked down 3 times in a casual sparring session.
Logan is speaking in generalities, right? He's a legit boxer. He's not just a YouTube boxer. And okay, what does that mean? That's the question we all have, because he's saying he's a bona fide pro. He's a pro boxer. I'm outworking pro boxers, which is fucking not true for either of these guys. What kind of people are coming over and sparring you guys that you're putting on the mat 3 times and leaving them with a bloody nose? Are these amateurs? Are these low-level pros? Are these high-level pros? We need details, right? But they're not going to give us those details because, again, it would expose where exactly Jake is in the process.
We think he's a very good fighter, but the fact of the matter is we just haven't had the ability to see it proven yet. The good thing about this fight, in my eyes, and I've been saying this the whole time, is I personally believe that if he is able to step into the ring and beat an actual fighter, a lot of people are going to have to stop doubting him. A lot of people are going to have to say, yo, he just beat someone who fights for a living. I believe beating you would give Jake Paul enough credibility to continue telling that story.
The interesting thing what Mike said too, and by the way, I agree with Mike. I know he doesn't have the most fighting knowledge in the world, but he articulates points, I think, really well for a guy that is still learning the sport of boxing and MMA. The thing that Mike says is very interesting because they want to prove how good Jake is, right? We want to see it proven how good Jake is. We think he's good. We want to prove that. Well, here's the thing they're not taking into account, and it's another reason I kind of throw the red flag a little bit about Logan's camp and Jake's camp. I know they work hard. I know they bring high-level guys in, but no one's disproven the fact that Jake might not be as good as they think he is. Like, none of the guys they brought in have given Jake any problems, which shows me they haven't had their guy pushed in camp, which could lead to them having a big surprise on fight night, which has been pushing him to a point they haven't even seen him at, and then them learning, oh, wait a second, he's got a ways to go.
I don't know how much you know about me, Ben.
Not that much.
Okay, so I started off making videos on Vine.
I've heard that.
So my career started in 6 seconds, and your career ended in 6 seconds.
It's a good joke.
Jorge Masvidal needs you in your ear hole.
You know what? I don't remember any of it really. I remember you looking, making eye contact before the fight started, and then that's
crazy.
And
That
then
sucks, man.
yeah, it's not ideal. And then,
You don't seem to be too upset about the situation.
He's
but
so
just-
transparent
Yeah,
about
which is
everything.
great. It's very hard to fuck with you because you.
Part of this podcast, you can try to convince me otherwise, but part of this podcast, because Jake, of course, I'm assuming knows that Ben was on this podcast, was to try to get into the head of Ben a little bit, was to see kind of what information they could relay back to Jake and give him a hard time because that's who Jake is fighting, and obviously Jake being Logan's brother, they want to poke him a little bit. Ben is so mentally okay with who he is and loves who he is to the point where you can't really fuck with him. You can't really say things to get under his skin because he admits, before you can make fun of him, he admits his flaws. Before you can say anything, he's already done it.
How much you weigh, Ben?
right now, probably 200.
Oh yeah, you're thick, bro.
Wait,
Yeah.
I was just looking at you too. I'm like, you're so much bigger than George.
Stop. Wait. What's Jake weigh right now?
I think we're fighting at 190.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 190. Well, Jake's pretty
Jake's
fucking
thick.
thick
Nah,
with
he's
2 C's
two,
right
two,
now.
probably 205, 210.
So like I said, guys, we talked about this at the press conference. Everyone thought Jake was the bigger, taller, just jacked up guy. Ben walks around at 200 pounds. Jake walks around, according to Logan, around 205 to 210. This weight discrepancy is not as big as you guys think, and they're gonna have to come down to 190. Now, I know this podcast was recorded a couple of weeks back, so Jake is probably closer to the weight now, but even still, cutting from that natural 210 down to 190, it's a 20-pound weight cut or 15-pound weight cut. A 20-pound weight cut doesn't necessarily help Jake with that gas tank as they go into the later rounds, which he's never fought at.
What does it look like to have to train? Because not being an asshole here, but I've seen some of the sparring footage,
Yeah.
and I've even said like I don't know if he's learning technique by punching that slow, but somebody made the joke that you look like how people punch in their dreams. Like, when you,
People punching their dreams?
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're in your dream and you're trying to take down the monster. You're trying to beat up somebody and the punches come out like you're in slow motion and you just cannot get there. Fucking geriatric Mike, man. That's funny.
I think the way people are looking at it from the outside, when you watch Jake's
Yes.
sparring sessions or when you watch Jake's training, he's got that snappiness. That jab is quick and it's
Yeah.
back in to protect him. When I watch your striking and your initial start at boxing, it looks like you're much earlier in the journey. Why does that appear like that?
Well, I look pretty funny to everything I do.
Okay.
I think, yes.
Okay.
I've got used to that, right? Everyone thinks what I do looks strange and funny, and then all of a sudden I'm in front of them and they're like, oh, this guy won't fucking go away.
People have called Ben funky Ben Askren because of how different his wrestling style and his scrambling was in the college wrestling ranks. He's brought that now to the MMA scene. He does things unorthodox. He doesn't do things by the book. So when you have Jake fighting Ben and he's bringing all these guys into camp, boxers, MMA guys, you can't bring a guy in that replicates what Ben is going to bring. I don't know what Ben's going to bring. I don't even know exactly how Ben's going to try to be successful, but I know he's going to do something that Jake hasn't seen. Things that Ben does in this fight he will not move, act, punch like a boxer.
Are you nervous facing someone who's not a traditional fighter?
What is that? I don't know why I'd be nervous about that. I think that should make me less nervous.
No,
I mean,
because if you lose, I mean, dog, I'll just say it, it's
I don't-
over.
I
It's
don't give
over
a
for you,
shit.
man.
What do you mean? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna run my wrestling academies. My life is not really gonna change. A few 13-year-olds are gonna tease me a little bit. Like,
This is the difference.
This dude's bulletproof, dude.
This is the difference.
oh my God, Logan, I don't know your life that well. I'm sure there's something you've done that you. Damn.
Oh, no. We're going to skip right through that.
There's gonna be some stuff that's embarrassing. Listen, you just get over it and you live your life. I'm gonna run my wrestling academies the same day. And I tell kids, you know, when they're nervous about a big match, I tell them, listen, man, I had the most embarrassing knockout that's ever happened in MMA history. Just shake it off and you keep moving.
Unreal.
I mean, listen, he's absolutely right.
This is why, as I think George just said, he said Ben is bulletproof. This is why, right here. Like, even Logan said, oh, dude, you lose this, I'm not gonna lie, it's over for you. No, it's not over for a guy like Ben. It would probably be over for a lot of social media stars because this is the life they live. This is the world that creates their self-worth. And it's why, in my opinion, he's going to be a little bit more loose. He's going to be a little bit more easy to adjust in the fight because it's not so pressure-filled for him. Once the fight starts, it's a fight. Once it's over, it's over. There's not a carryover effect for a guy like Ben, like there will be for Jake should he lose. Jake has admitted he's got a lot of pressure, everything's on the line. For Ben, he's like, I'll go coach wrestling. It's just a different mentality. You don't get this anywhere else but the Wade Concept YouTube channel. A full thumb war breakdown, let's go.
3, 4, I declare thumb war.
Watch the feints from Logan. Look at feint, trying to get Ben to come down. Oh, he almost had Ben right there. Look at the feint. Boom, pops in, pulls out. Look at that. Oh, caught Ben. Ben with the pullback.
Move your finger, stop cheating.
Groundhog.
What is a groundhog? Ben's got it pinned.
No, I'm in the ground.
I pinned you.
I'm in the ground. It's a groundhog.
1, 2, 3.
Pin! Ben wins with the pin. What is a groundhog? Ben takes it. Thumb war champion, Ben Askren.
Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather.
Well, I thought it was happening in February, but then it didn't happen.
All right,
What's the
listen,
deal?
don't worry about the
Well,
fucking
what's it? I mean,
timeline. It looks like May.
Logan, that ain't gonna go very well for you. He's the best in the world.
Yeah.
No, I just want to fucking be able to hold my hand so high, coming out on top, and just prove everyone wrong, man. Like I've never had a fire like this in my life ever.
And that's respectable from Logan too, by the way. It's respectable for him to want to go against all odds, to raise his hand high. I'm sure he's working hard. But the thing you have to realize, not everything is a storybook ending when you're facing a guy that works just as hard, has worked just as hard, is better at this sport, is giving you an opportunity based upon your name and your name alone. And then you get upset at the fact that people are telling you you are going to lose to the man that is a far superior boxer than you will ever aspire to be. I understand he's going to use things to motivate him and people telling him he can't do it. That would motivate me too. But there's a fine line between motivation and fantasy and the reality of you still got to go in there and fight. It's not clear to me that Logan understands the levels there are to this game. Like he might see it, but I don't think he believes it, and he won't believe it until he's in there doing it.
Would you say, because this is
Yes.
what I've always told him,
Yes.
that he has a chance? Not even.
Bro, you listening to
Man.
fucking Ben Askren? He thinks he's gonna win against Jake. Clearly, it's not all there.
Who had a
Just watching Logan stumble all over his own arguments is hilarious. Like he's like, no, dude, this guy's insane. He thinks he's gonna beat Jake. I'm definitely gonna beat Floyd Mayweather, though. That's completely sane for me to say. What?
We could spar. You could even
have
if you
stuff.
if you were able to beat me up, I would still have no faith that you could beat up Floyd Mayweather. Floyd
That's what I was
Mayweather,
just gonna say.
Here, Ben Askren. Here. This is not the same thing. Two things are not the same.
Jake sent a special message. I don't know. I haven't seen it. So here goes.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
Before we even start, the man is trying to hide his receding hairline by going with the TikTok/e-boy fade haircut that he has used to now cover his 5 head with what's left of his Bosley treatment. This dude has rehearsed this 3 or 4 times in his saved drafts, and finally he's got it down pat. Let's listen to what Jake Paul has to say.
Ben, what's up, you ugly motherfucker? You middle-aged Dutch woman, ugly Napoleon Dynamite looking
He
ass
should stop
motherfucker.
shaking his camera.
Sitting there right now with your little pedo smile.
Pedo smile. Again, we've talked about this. Good old GP loves to get his smooch on with the female 17 and under crowd. So the only pedos that Jake should and would know is his actual father, Mr. Greg Paul.
Just as I asked Nate Robinson's kids not to watch the fight, I will ask your kids not to do the same. So Ben Askren's kids.
All right, so we're going to have Jake do what he's most comfortable with. The person-to-person interaction with adults, he's not the best at. But we all know from his YouTube clout, from his massive YouTube following, from his rise to fame, this is where he's comfortable. This is where his best performance should be. This is your bread and butter. Bring it home, kid. Bring it home.
Please don't watch this because your dad will be bloodied, unconscious on the fucking canvas April 17th.
Got it.
I don't want
Cursing
you to
at his
see that.
kids.
I'm gonna show the world just how big of a bitch you are. I'm gonna make you my bitch. I fucking promise that. And P.S. I know a good barber who can help you cut that Brillo pad off the top of your fucking head.
Okay. Now you're out of hand, Jake. Now you're out of hand. This man said, I know a good barber. First off, you don't go to the barber. You have a hard enough time growing hair as it is. He is so lucky that was just a slight breeze and not a gust of wind, or we would have seen that Donald Trump wig flying off the back of his 5 head.
He's trying to be intimidating, but it wasn't very intimidating. I mean, I've spent the last decade of my life getting there with guys who like are real killers with 4-ounce gloves who could kick me or knee me or elbow me or really do anything they want. So the fact that, you know, he can just punch me, that's pretty easy comparatively.
You're not buying it.
No, I think in his head, he's convinced himself of a narrative that's going to take place. And he has to say things to make himself feel good and stuff. But yeah, very, very little of that was true. Yeah, I don't know. My kids have a great life. They're so happy. I'll show you some videos.
Nothing gets at this guy. All right, so there you have it. This podcast is fun to watch. Of course, we're going to talk strategy as the week goes on. I have some fun videos for you guys on Fight Week. We are in Fight Week as we speak. But this was fun to see, man. You can just see how likable Ben is. Jake's marketing this thing, so of course he wants to be the bad guy, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm going to root for Ben Askren. But again, the underlying message, all these attempts at intimidation, at trying to poke holes in Ben's psyche by saying, dude, if you lose this, it's over for you. It has no effect. They are losing this mental battle continuously to Ben, but it doesn't matter, right? None of this matters because at the end of the day, those two got to step in and fight. I cannot wait for this fight. I am excited to watch with you guys, but my biggest thing I keep going back to, who is going to do the things right that are going to be the difference makers? Is it going to be skill and technique early, or is it going to be mental fortitude, composure, and adjusting to adversity? I tend to think it's going to be the latter, but as always, we're going to find out.